When the lights on. Okay. I do have a premium account. Okay, whatever. Sure, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. We live there. All right. What's cracking? Breakthrough crew. I know it's been a minute, baby, but we back. I know it's been a minute. I got a few things to talk to y'all about anyway. Let's see. Where's my banner? I gotta get the familiar with on my banner. Uh, no, that's not it. It is hot in this garage, by the way, but we're gonna make it work. Oh, that's not it. That's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And current matter. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. What's happening, Ernest? Ernest, what's happening, baby? From Huntsville, baby. What it do, baby? From the Big Bama. Y'all know I got the infamous Martin shirt. I gotta represent today. Like I said, I'm in the garage. I had the light on. I just left workouts. So I'm about to be sweating all over the place, but we still gonna have a good time. We still gonna have a great time. We still gonna get an education on, and I just got a lot of information to share with you all. And it's been a minute since I talked to my breakthrough crew one on one. I know it's been a minute, but we back in it. All right, Ernest. So as the show rules go, let me go ahead and put this banner up so that you know. This is my first time seeing you around these parts. Boom. Before you tell us what you're thinking, tell us what you're drinking. All right. Because as I always say, you don't really know a man and you can't trust a man till you know his vices. All right. And my vices, one of them anyway, is this good drink here. So today, what am I going to be sipping on? Actually, a good friend of mine sent me a bottle today. I got to share and promote this with y'all because, and I'm not getting paid for this. They need to. They need to, add me to their promo team. Because, I don't understand why liquor, spirit sponsors, and cigar, companies don't sponsor tech pros, like tech people smoke cigars, and we drink good spirits too, and we can afford it. So I don't, you all need to start hollering at us in this space, about promoting your products. But anyway, this is free promo. Probably can't see it, but this is a good bottle. It's called Blackland. It's actually Texas pecan brown sugar bourbon. Again, Texas pecan brown sugar bourbon. Really, this is great stuff. Friend of mine sent me this. Um, as just an appreciation gift. Good friend of mine. Shout out to my boy J.O. out of Austin, Texas. Send me a surprise bottle of this. And man, this is great stuff. I'm gonna add. I'm almost halfway through it. I'm kind of been slow sipping it because I had it about 2 weeks because I don't want to drink all of it. Yeah, because they don't sell it here in Georgia. But I'm going to restock on this as soon as I'm done with this one. Really good stuff. It's kind of on the sweeter side, but it tastes so good. It has that nutty pecan finish, and it has that true bourbon brown sugar undertone, and it's just so good, like so tasty. Only thing you need to add to that is ice. That's actually one of the few bourbons I like. You can just drink it straight up, raw, raw dog it, with no extra sodas, anything needed. Just straight this and ice. It just sets it off. But today I'm going to be drinking some of my poppy waters to help finish it off. Because again, like I said, I just got done working out. I ain't trying to get too messed up, because alcohol going straight to your system after workout is a terrible idea. All right, but we're gonna do it anyway. Anyway, so let's get back to it. You don't drink vegan. Oh God, here we go. Okay, it's cool. Okay, well, what kind of vegan club soda, celery drink, juice are you having this evening? All right, because we having grown folks tech night. That's how we do around here. We do grown folks tech night. Who is that? Yeah, yes, or yes. Anyway, this is this in that 80. What's happening in the DMV? Okay, in the DMV was cracking. What's cracking? Tell us what you're sipping on before you tell. Oh, Diet Coke. Okay, I see what y'all gonna do with me tonight. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be the only one playing tonight. Everybody else on this sobriety, health conscious, summer body kick. Okay, I see that's how you're gonna kick it. Mm. Oh, that's gonna get me right. Oh, that's been sitting too. That's been sitting. See, when I first got the bottle, I always had it with ice. I literally just had it been sitting in this, had this bottle sitting in this warm garage for about 30 minutes, and it's kind of now got like a syrupy texture to it. Oh my God, it's so good. This is some good bourbon. Again, Black Land, and it's that Texas pecan brown sugar bourbon. It's homegrown in Texas, natural, really good bourbon. Anyway, 225 girl, what's up, girl? What's up? You know I missed you, girl. I know, man. Listen, I know, but listen, a lot of things in my life starting to stabilize now. Meaning, I'm like my plate is starting to get balanced. All right, all right. So I do want to do these more. I've actually been doing a lot of other more social media things more. I've been doing TikTok lives. So if you follow me on TikTok, Cloud Tech Big Up. Always posting on IG. Post as much as I can. Make a little posts here and now and then on YouTube, like just regular posts or little clips. But mainly, I've been IG live heavy, TikTok focus heavy, Facebook heavy, and just busy. But I want to at least give y'all these lives at least 2, 3 times a month, to be honest with you. And I got to be honest with you, I got to give you another update. 225 girl, what you sipping on though? Okay, cherry fruit Pepsi Soda Zero. Pepsi Zero. Come, who is anybody sipping with me? Is anybody being grown with me tonight? That's all I need to know for starters. If this is gonna tell me what kind of night we're gonna have. Anybody gonna be grown with me tonight? Yes or no? Mm. I know, like I had supposed to have this live. We supposed to did this last week. I had two guests. So one guest, he was an SRE engineer, senior engineer, really great guy. I follow him on LinkedIn. Something came up in my schedule with my family. So I had to reschedule and push things out. And so that got canceled. So we're gonna spin the block. He has agreed to come back and do the show at a later date. So shout out to my guy. We're gonna bring him back on. And then I had another guest from Britain. He was supposed to be my guest on tonight. He's a CTO out of Britain. He's a cloud advocate out of Britain. He has a lot of cool things going on LinkedIn. I thought he would have been a fun, um, kind of a fun guest, and a different type of guest that we have on the air. But something went through with his family, so he had to cancel the night. So I'm surmounting two cancellations, one on my end, and then one on the guest end. So that's why we're here, and that's why it's taking us about 2, 3 weeks to get back around to doing this live. So that's my fault, y'all. But we here now. We're gonna sip a little bit, and we're gonna get right into the nitty gritty of tonight's topic. Let me see, which I need to put the topic back up. Let me see. And yeah, stream y'all kind of changed around a few things, so I'm trying to navigate it. All right, I'm reading y'all. Come, let me see. One of those days I will have glad to meet you. Let's come on, baby. Listen, I got a great membership down here at a Speakeasy Cigar Lounge, exclusive upscale Speakeasy Cigar Lounge. You know what I'm saying? Because your cloud tech, you doing. We splurge in the little places here and there. You know what I'm saying? We still try to buy everything for the low, but we sprinkle a little bit here and there. But yeah, come on down. It's a few tech bros and sisters I don't met, sisters that I met at the spot down here. So yeah, I'm always, you willing to talk shop. Just hit me up when you're in town and we have a rapport. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up when you're in town. We can make it happen. I met a good brother, Abib Muhammad. We had just had cigars and whiskey just a couple weeks ago. So yeah, come on down 225. Let me see what else y'all got going on. Wrestling, screwball. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I knew my boy in the DMV wasn't gonna leave me hanging. I knew he wasn't. I just knew he wasn't gonna Big Ump drink by himself. Come on now. Be a grown man by himself. Come on. Mm, okay. Yeah, that screwball will get you right though, for real. That screwball will get you right. All right, let me get into it. Let me get into the lessons tonight. All right, because we are here to work, have fun, and work. So I wanted to talk about teach you all the difference about let me go back to my banners. I want to teach you all the difference about yeah, there we go. Teach you all the difference about how to decipher between good recruiters and bad recruiters, especially tech recruiters. Because I think that's a subject that doesn't really get harped on. And there's a lot of uncertainty, especially with newbies and even with those who've been in the field, in the tech field, but they've been with an organization for the past 3 to 6 years. So they really haven't been in the market enough and done enough interviewing and kissing enough ugly frogs of tech recruiters to know the ins and outs of how this business works. From a a procurement of your next role and opportunity standpoint, what that whole gambit and process is like. Well, I have. I've spoken to at least hundreds of tech recruiters. I have dozens of tech recruiters in my personal, phone contact. I have a lot of great rapport with a lot of great tech recruiters, and I've kissed a lot of ugly frogs of tech recruiters. Like I've been interviewing since even before, with tech recruiters since before I got my first cloud tech role. Like I remember failing dozens of interviews before even getting my first official cloud tech offer. So I've been through the whole thing. And one day I'm going to bring a tech recruiter on to talk to you all. And we're going to do a chat, tech and night chat. Funny enough, it's one guy that I was going back and forth with on Twitter, because I'll be on Twitter every day too. Cloud Tech Big On. Everything you can find is on Bcloudengineers.live. You can find all our social links there. But anyway, I was going back and forth with this guy on Twitter, this one recruiter, big recruiter on Twitter, and I was kind of, I was being combative. I was fighting stigmas and fighting because, oftentimes you see a lot of tech recruiters, some not a lot, but sometimes they just put out content that's discouraging to a lot of talent out there, or misinformed to a lot of talent out there trying to weave their way through this industry, especially during this trying time. And so I was going back and forth and whatever, making points or whatever. I'm getting likes, and this one guy chimed in, and he getting likes, and we're going back and forth. And started off with a strong, combative disagreement that eventually led to us exchanging phone numbers and agreeing to meet up and have cigars here locally in the city. But that crazy story. I can hopefully one day I can bring him on, and I look forward to me and him actually having this sit down. He just reached out to me last week actually about having those cigars. But anyway, networking. You never stop networking. You never stop turning down your opportunities. But I say all that to say, I want to really be able to educate, help you all navigate through experiences so you don't have to go through wasting time and resources with bad recruiters, all right, and getting turned away or disenchanted with the tech industry and tech opportunities due to a bad recruiter, and being able to spot a good tech recruiter and how to make partnerships and build a lengthy network of having good recruiters in your stable, because they're going to be a critical asset to your career when you have good tech recruiters. And I also want to caveat that by saying that bad tech recruiters, or even bad experiences you may have on your part with tech recruiters, doesn't mean it's going to end your career, or it's going to, prevent you from being able to obtain opportunities in this space. It's not crucial that you have great relationships with most tech recruiters. Like they're not going to determine the trajectory of your career. Right? That's just the reality of it. And when I go down these goods and bads, you're going to have a deeper understanding of why I say that and why the reality of that is true. All right. But as always, you want to, of course, make a good attempt to always have at least a good rapport with tech recruiters. So for starters, let's go into, yeah, go into this. So what is it for starters that tech recruiters do? Most people don't know, especially newbies. You don't really know what it. You think a tech recruiter is just someone who, out the blue, they have this job and they have the access to you getting that job, and they're reaching out to you to qualify you to be able to get this job. and without them, you can't get this job. That's how most people, especially most newbies and entry level and tech folk who haven't been out in the field in the past 3, 4 years, especially as much as I have, that's what they think tech recruiters are. But the reality, here's the reality, so that you can just get a more grounded appreciation and respect for what tech recruiters do and who they are. For starters, persons, they're sales consultants. That's what a tech recruiter is. They really, what they do is they go out to businesses and sell their recruitment services. All right, their ability to procure talented individuals and talented candidates for particular types of tech roles. We got some that specialize in DevOps, some that specialize in cloud engineering, some that specialize in architecture, some that specialize in Linux, some that specialize in back end Java, X, Y, and Z. Like you know the big wigs out there, Insight Global, Robert Half, uh, just all of them. I don't even want to give too much on clock because they never give me no, none of them are paying for this promo, but you know the big boys out there. But generally, that's their first line of business is to go out and try to build relationships with companies that are hiring for talent. Because what they're doing is they're going to these companies saying, "Hey, yeah, we have this talent pool of employees that can fit your business needs so that you don't have to have the hassle of having to shift through talent, going out and scouting through talent because it takes a lot of time and skill to be able to find good talent, especially in the tech space, especially in the country, especially in America or in Britain in your respective countries, to be able to go and do this work integrally. So that's their first job is to sell. They make the sale, and then what happens is these companies agree to bring them on as a recruitment firm into one or two spaces. Either they say, hey, we have a particular set of jobs that we want to hire for, and we need you all to find this talent. And we're going to exclusively get this contract to you to go find this talent. Or they have this agreement with this established business partnership with these companies where they already had the HR onboarding methodology set up, and they just go out and find that they get notified of the jobs that's available. They say, look, hey, you all are among the first to know. You're not exclusive to this contract, but you're all among the first recruitment companies or job boards to know that hey, we're looking for this type of talent. You might even know before the public job board, like an Indeed or LinkedIn, what have you, gets the job rec. You might have that job rec before it's public, essentially, as a recruitment firm. So those are one or two ways in which they secure business and then go out to find you the talent to get hired on with the company. All right, so that's essentially what they do on the sales end, and then on the HR end, they're responsible for doing all the financial negotiating with you, and then doing all the background checks on you, making sure you're all clear to go, and it's seamless as they create a seamless as possible process from getting you interviewed all the way to getting you to your first day. That's what a typical tech recruiter job is to do. All right, especially if they're working with, and they usually work for purely a tech recruitment company, but sometimes they are internal for the actual companies themselves, which I can go into as well. But we'll see how this goes. Does that make sense to y'all so far? If that makes sense and y'all ready for the next one, give me a one in the chat. Give me a number one. Just put the number one in the chat. If all of that made sense to y'all so far, and y'all ready for me to go into the next step, the next phase of this. Let's see. Oh, there's an echo in the background. Is it a bad echo? All right, cool. We got ones. We got ones. Okay, cool. All right, what's happening, Justin? And you ain't tell me what you're drinking, Justin, but it's all good, baby. All right. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so that's what they do. So how do tech recruiters find jobs? This is always a myth, like the mythical quality question that comes up. People think always, especially newbies more so, and those who've been with one organization for a long period of time, they just think tech recruiters magically have these jobs ready for them. No, you actually going to be highly surprised. So remember when I told you, I ain't even light up, man. Hold on. I wonder if this hurts my monetization when I be smoking my cigars. I don't know, but it's me, baby. It's contact. We're gonna see. But mm, there we go. So, um, all right. So, no, that's not how it works. So usually, if a tech recruitment, a third party tech recruitment firm reaches out to you, it's only because they have the job one or two ways. And you can ask this, and it's actually best that you ask this. They either got the contract exclusively from the third party, from the actual client, from the company that's hiring. Let's say the company is uh, Coca-Cola. Company is Coca-Cola that's hiring. They may have exclusive rights to do all the recruitment for Coca-Cola for the tech talent that they need, especially cloud tech talent. All right. So if they tell you, yeah, we have exclusive rights to this contract, okay, cool. Because what that means is likely you're not going to find that job ad anywhere else online. And if you do find it online, it's because that recruitment firm posted it. So either way, all leads are going to lead through that recruitment firm if they have that contract with that exclusive contract with that company, which also is a good thing because more times than not, they at least, or at least their account manager has some type of relationship with the hiring manager. So that could even be more towards your benefit if things go well talking to the recruiter. Now, how most of the recruitment jobs, how most of the tech recruiters themselves get the jobs is actually through the same way you find the jobs, through job boards on Indeed, LinkedIn, blah blah. I ain't gonna get the rest away because I be giving my students my exclusive stuff. But bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, different job sites. All right. Monsterjobs.com. They find the job boards, the job recs, the same place you found it. The only difference is they are bold enough to say, well, before you, and they're bold enough to say, hey, um, they'll qualify you themselves for the job and then present you to the client, to the hiring manager. Somehow, some way, they found out who the actual hiring company is. Maybe it's on the job board. Maybe it's through another tech recruitment firm that they have a relationship with. But it's public. It's publicly accessible. This is why sometimes when some folks, and you'll notice if you have a good resume, you'll get hit up about multiple different recruitment firms for the same job because that job is publicly accessible. That rec is publicly accessible, and different recruitment firms are trying to recruit from it. All right, because at the end of the day, and I'm going to see if yeah, let me close out on this point. At the end of the day, a tech recruitment firm doesn't get money or doesn't get paid until you start your first day of work. Meaning it's in their best interest, literally, to get no matter how much they don't like you. No matter how bad you get on their nerves, no matter how, whatever. They have it's in their best interest for you to get that job because they only get paid when you start your first day of work. And believe you me, they get paid every hour you get paid. Or if it's a full-time role, they get a percentage of your salary. That's how it works. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't be there. There's no need for them to be there. All right. So just always understand that when a tech recruiter, especially a third-party tech recruiter that's not internal, is reaching out to you about a job, a contract role, or FTE role, they are getting a percentage of that pie, and it's up to you to try to make sure that it's feasible for both as possible. But believe you me, they're not going to take a negative hit in their margin percentage just for you to get a job. All right. They rather find somebody else to where it financially makes sense. And you can still go around them. Again, they don't deter you unless they have exclusive rights to a job. They can't deter you from going directly to the employer and applying for the role yourself. You can even apply online somewhere and send the employer a copy of your resume saying, "Hey, I saw your job online. You were looking for this. Here's my resume. I specialize in da 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 da. I'm interested in doing my availability to do interviews is da 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 da. Would love the opportunity to chat with you further." Boom. You can go around them. You don't have to get a piece of your pie cut. And we can talk a whole nother day about C2C contracting, what's the difference between them hiring you using your regular social versus them using your business EIN number, different pay ranges as well. But just know that if a recruitment firm is saying, hey, we're going to offer you $60 for this role, just know that that role is likely paying $90 for that role. All right. And they're taking $30 off. That's the reality. Now you may be able to negotiate them down to where they may take $20 off instead of 30. But again, they have a margin that they need to stay within to be profitable for it to make sense for them. So always know that they always gonna get paid, and they only get paid when you get paid. A slight echo. Okay, what's happening, strength? What happened? What's happening? What's happening? All right, yeah, I'm sorry about this echo. Let me put on my another headphone. Maybe that'll help too. Help balance things out. Is this a little better? Is this a little better? And it's probably an echo because it's bouncing off the garage. I might have to get soundboards. It's all good. You know what? Next time I just put my regular mic on instead of trying to be slick and use my Dre beats. Low to normal. Okay. All right, that's cool. Well, we're gonna work with what we got. What's happening, Strength? Hey, Strength, you can tell us what you're sipping on, man. All right, so that's basically how they find a job. It's no different than how you can find a job. Again, you can go online and find the same jobs. In fact, I've done it many times. When they send out the when they send out a job, they'll call you and send out the JD or whatever. Um, Send out the JD or whatever. You can literally copy the headline of that job, put it in Google, and boom, you'll see it online, and that'll let you know if it's exclusive to them or not. All right. But now, so that's just the kind of generalities I wanted to demystify about tech recruiters and what they do. All right. But now let's get into what makes a good recruiter and a bad tech recruiter. If you're ready for that, let me get the number two in the chat. Let me get some twos going. Mm. Let me get some twos in the chat if you're ready for us talking about now what makes a good tech recruiter versus what makes a bad tech recruiter. Mm. By the way, standing up, I got to get a chair. As I grow, I eventually get some type of podcast studio. But just know, standing up and doing this is work. All right, it's work. All right, there we go. We got our tools cracking. All right, cool, 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 cool. All right, so let's get into it. So here's what a good tech recruiter does. All right, a good tech recruiter. All right, and let me put my cigar down. All right, so a good tech recruiter um, is going to hold only a 15-minute conversation with you. At most, it might go 20. And here's why. Because a good tech recruiter actually has a relationship with the actual organization that's hiring, and they know exactly what they're looking for and what type of talent can fill the gap or the void that they have on their team. So they already kind of know. Even if, yes, they do have the objectives and they have the JD, JD is a job description, they have everything already filled out of the wish list. Because keep in mind, a job description is a wish list. A job description is not accurate enough to what's actually needed to perform that the organization needs to fulfill this role. A JD is nothing but where HR goes online and Googles after talking to the hiring manager, goes online and Googles what's the rest of these prerequisites. So that's why I always tell students and mentees alike, you don't have to have you only need at least 30% of the requirements to be able to apply for a role, to be able to have a chance to actually get an interview for the role. You don't need to fit 80% to 100% of the JD in order to feel that you qualify for a role. 30%. And this is what the good tech recruiters know because they're not interested in knowing, like if they're hiring for a DevOps engineer, they're not going in and looking for someone who knows Kubernetes and Java and .NET framework and no, because they know the team just has issues with one, a DevOps, and they lost a DevOps engineer who never shows up for work, always misses the call, isn't professional, um, knows, and the technical part, they just need to know how to use infrastructure as code, have stood up some environments before, know how to troubleshoot Terraform, use Terraform before, know how to set up Azure DevOps or AWS code pipeline. bang, and knows a little bit of knows Linux and knows a little bit Python. Boom, that's all you're looking for. I name mostly social skills versus technical skills. That's what makes a good tech recruiter from a bad tech recruiter. A good tech recruiter knows that what's mostly missing and what the actual hiring manager is looking for. They're not going, even though they have their JD and everything like that, they're not going down the whole list again because they know that's not what's needed to perform the job well. Why? Because they have an actual relationship with the hiring manager or they place people at the organization before. All right. So that's what, and they're not looking to be on the phone with you all day because they're, remember, I told you at the beginning, a tech recruiter is usually making sales. They're not only trying to find talent, trying to procure talent, they're making sales to actual corporations and organizations trying to win bids on contracts and long-term projects. So they don't have all day to try to talk to you about a job that one, you might not be interested in. Two, you might not qualify for. Three, might that a organization might not be all the way that committed on filling immediately. So they just want to get to it and they want to get in and get out. They know exactly what they're looking for. They know what it sounds like. They know what it looks like, and they want to make the most of their time and your time respectfully, and get out of there. Now, a bad tech recruiter, a bad tech recruiter wants to talk on the phone all day. They want to go through all the preliminary questions. They want to ask you how you doing, how's your weekend. Well, tell me about what you're doing in the job market now. What are you doing in your current role? Okay, so what have you done in your history roles? Okay, all right. And after they ask all that, then they want to know. Okay, so tell me about your. So do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And this is where you go south because a few questions is never a few questions. A few questions is usually a litany of questions. They're gonna go through all 30. Well, tell me how many years of Linux experience do you have? Tell me how many years of Kubernetes experience do you have? Tell me how many years, and they're gonna say AWS managed services have you had? You like managed services? What are you talking about? Well, how about a virtual AWS virtual pod private cloud experience have you had? That. And listen, and here's the part that's going to tickle you the most and pee you off the most is that you're going to go through this list with them, and you might come up short on experience expectations on one objective, and they would disqualify you. They would disqualify you. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. They're looking for somebody with 8 years and you only have 7. Oh, I'm sorry. Because they're bad. They don't know their job. They don't know the hiring manager. They don't know anything about anything. All right. So that's why a bad recruiters, you need to avoid them. And that's usually a large sign is when they want to have full blown and you've been on the phone with them for like 30, 40, 45 minutes. This lead is likely to go nowhere. One of the first initial questions you need to be asking them is, do you have a contract with this organization for this job? That's going to be a key indicator on if this is worth your time or not. All right. And then after that, again, now most recruiters ask you preliminary questions, which is fine, but a bad tech recruiter wants to go down an objective list of everything. All right. They spend little time on telling you what they're actually looking for in the role, as far as like what kind of problem they're looking for somebody to come in and help them solve, versus the objective list of things you have and don't have. All right. And they're likely reading off of an outdated resume, LinkedIn file, or whatever that's not accurate update anyway. So that's the first signs of a bad recruiter versus a good recruiter. If y'all ready for the third phase, because that's the first phase, my bad. The second phase of knowing a good recruiter versus a bad recruiter. Let me get a 3 in the chat. Give me some 3s. Give me some thirds in the chat. Let me get some 3s. Am I cooking so far? Is this grease getting a little warm? Talk to me. Tell me the truth now. Tell me the truth now. Give me some 3s in the chat. Can y'all still hear me? Okay, cool. 225, girl. I know 225 gonna always hold me down. Let me know when you come to Atlanta, baby. I got you. Jazz, what up, Jazz? What you sipping on, Jazz? You can tell us what you sipping on. Let me go scroll up, see the Jazz tell us what she's sipping on. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, y'all been chatting. That's what I'm talking about. All right, cool. Look at this. Hey, man, I'm sick of y'all. I'm so sick of y'all. Y'all gonna make me seem like I'm like I got some type of problem or I'm some type of alky. It's only me and who somebody on here said they were sipping earlier. Who was that? Definitely 1225. Who had yeah, this and that had the screwball. So it's me and this and that. We got the screwball. It's all good though. All right, so let's go to the next phase. So here's the next phase. Here's a key one too. A lot of y'all be scared to talk about the money, and you forget that you're in a tech business. All right, the recruiter literally does not make money unless they get you the job to make the money for them. All right, like I told you before, they either get paid off your salary or they get paid off your yearly wage. I mean your hourly wage. That's literally it. They get paid off your salary or they get paid off your hourly wage. That's how a tech recruiter gets compensated. So money is always valuable to be talked about on the table. All right. So a good tech recruiter, they're going to ask you, so what are you making right now, or what are you in the market? What's your range that you're looking for this type of role? And usually your response should be, well, what's the budget for this role? Or looking at this role and the market, it should I'm targeting around such and such, because you can easily take the JD, put it in Google, say what's the average salary for this type of role or these type of skills, and it'll give you an average range, and then you can shoot a little bit above that, about 10,000 or so above that, and just see what they say, because they can only tell you no. I trust me, I've had hundreds of conversations with tech recruiters throughout my years in this industry. No one has ever hung up on me because I asked them uh, what's the salary range, right? Or I gave them a number and the number was beyond their budget level. None of them ever hung up the phone. 9 times out of 10, they're going to respond with either they can do it, it's within range, or it's not within range. And if it's not within range, you then ask them, okay, so what's the range that you all were thinking within? And they'll give you a range. And if that range is doable for you, you can say, okay, yeah, I can do with that range. Now you want to aim at the top, of course, if you have especially the skills that match. But yeah, like there's no like we all here to make money, So it's not about we're not only here to make money, but making money is a part of the business that keeps us going. So um, salary. So they give you realistic. A good tech recruiter is going to give you realistic salary expectations. They'll be like, look. So they ask you, okay, so how much are you targeting? You'll say, well, how much are they budgeted for the role? And they'll usually say, oh, okay, well, we're budgeting. So if you're for a cloud engineer, they say, oh, we're targeting between 100 to 135 for this role. All right, and they'll say, well, junior level is more 100, 105, and for a more senior level, cloud engineers will say we're targeting 130, 135. And then if they're really good, they'll be like, well, based on your resume and your experience of me talking to you, to be realistic with you, to get you in at a competitive rate, we can probably get you in between 125, 130. And then of course you go for the top number. But that's how it goes. Boom. That's simple. You agree to it, it's cool, it's fine, it's done. All right. That's a weird way to scratch my face. But anyway, that's how it done. It's a simple conversation. It's not a nail biter. It's not a and then you want to put more icing on the cake. If you really a bad boy or bad girl, if you really know you got the prerequisites, you got this quality, you got your certification requirements, you got your your experience requirements, you can really be like, well, excuse me, what's the highest excuse me, what's the highest range for the role? Yeah, because they'll come back and they'll tell you what the range is, and you'll be like, and you can, if you really that dude, if you that dude or that girl, and you've been doing this for a minute, your skills are good skills or solid skills, like you've been able to demonstrate them within different organizations, and especially speak through the problems that they said this organization is having. You can say, well, all right, so what's the most that they're willing to pay for this role? And they'll come back and tell you, all right, well, the reality is the most that they're gonna pay is boom, boom. You just talk yourself up another 10 an hour, another 8 an hour. which leads down to essentially another 20 a year, another 15 a year, another 30 a year. So like the money conversations aren't hard when you're dealing with a good tech recruiter. They're not hard at all because they know how important it is for people to get paid, and they want employees to actually stay with organizations that they get you jobs for, and they don't want you to reneging if you get the job offer and try to renege and negotiate. They don't want that. So they want to kill all those birds at the beginning of the initial call, so that you all have that business squared away on concrete. And now after that, it's just you literally going through the interview process until you get your offer letter and this smooth transition because it looks good on them and it looks good for you. All right. Because you want to see come off like you're a good person to do business with at the same time as well. You don't want to come off as flaky and you tell them one number and it's another number later on. Nah, if they stand straight up with you about the salary expectations, you also should do the same. Now keep in mind, they always taking a few dollars off of what you require, what you're asking for. So know that always. They're taking a few off. That's just how the business goes. Because again, if they're in the business to get paid. All right. And if they're going to help get you paid, get you your salary, they're going to get a few nickels off of that as well. That's just how the business goes. So if you don't like it, do a C to C. That's a whole nother conversation. All right. What's happening, fat boy? What you sipping on, man? What you sipping on? Tell us what you're drinking before you tell us what you're thinking. Mm. Okay. All right. Yeah, I need to light my cigar, man. I'm doing. Y'all got me out here doing bad. I'm sweating. I'm sipping bourbon. I'm in this hot garage. I'm smoking cigars. I'm having the time of life taking on my breakthrough crew. We talking about good recruiters versus bad tech recruiters. Mm. All right, let's go. Let's do another one. All right, let's do so what do bad tech recruiters do when it comes to the money? They act funny with the money. A bad tech recruiter is gonna act funny with the money. And if they funny with the money, then when you get into the actual job role, the joke's gonna be on you. All right. If a tech recruiter is acting funny with the money and you accept it, the offer that they give you, when you get in the actual job role, the joke's gonna be on you. All right. These are the types who they're so close to chest. Oh, we have a client a privilege agreement where I can't tell you how much they're actually paying for the. Just walk away. Go elsewhere. So many jobs, thousands of jobs out there where they're willing to be transparent with how much they're willing to pay for the role. To be sitting here talking to a recruiter who don't even have an exclusive contract in the role, not telling you how much they're gonna pay or not pay. All right. So if they start to try to hug tight, well, or if they hit you with another one, well, we're just filling out the market to see. Unless you're at a senior level role, a director level role, there's no filling out the market. The market is what the market is. There's enough middle to entry level tech talent out there for you to know what the going rate is. It's not like your seniors or directors where we're continuing to push the market up and sideways and diagonally. So it's kind of a moving target. No, everybody else in the middle and lower tier, the rate is usually the going rate. All right. So if they hit you with that, we don't know, we're just trying to fill out what the market is, it's gonna be a waste of time. It's gonna be a waste of time. Just know that. All right. If you ask them, well, what's the budget for the role? And they say, well, what? And they give you this rug them around, all these theories and this whole long story and throw it back at you. Yeah. So that's why I need to know, what you're targeting. It's going to help. Like they're negotiating with you just to tell you how much the role is paying for. Joke's going to be on you when you end up agreeing to their terms and getting that job offer. Joke's going to be on you. Because you're going to find out you're in a role making less than everybody on your team. And you hate to be in that role making less than everybody on your team. And you're working harder and better qualified than most on your team. That's going to bite you in the butt. That's going to hurt. That's going to sting. As soon as you're going to go get in, you're going to be looking for your next job opportunity. You're going to be like, I can't believe I said yes to this. I can't believe. Even some of your employees who you get cool with gonna be like, dang, you took what? You accepted what? Oof, oof. Oof, feel bad for you. Oof, couldn't be me. So they act funny with the money. It's a bad tech recruiter, and they likely don't have a relationship with the hiring manager. That's usually going to be the key. Because if they haven't, if they don't have an exclusive contract, they at least need to have a relationship with the hiring manager or have placed people in roles at their organization before. If they've done neither of those three, just be in for a challenge. Not saying it's not going to pan out. Not saying it's going to be. Listen, I don't get some bad frogs. All right, I don't took some bad jobs, and one day I'm gonna do a whole video of just terrible jobs that I've taken, just for the money, just for the clout. You know what I'm saying? And it blew up in my face. So I'm trying to tell you here from the experience, don't go through it. Coach Big On did that, so hopefully you ain't got to go through that. All right, last. Oh my God, I got four more to go. We're gonna kind of breeze through it. So let's see. And while we breezing through it, post your questions because we about to crank up Q&A. Jordy, what's going on, boss? Still doing a boot. Absolutely. What you sipping on, Jordy? Before you come in here, all that noise, making all that noise. Hey, moving people around, cutting lights on. Tell us what you're sipping before you tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're drinking before you tell us what you're thinking. Yeah, I know what I'm saying. You know what you're sipping on, and then we can continue this. All right, a little bit of Ciroc. Okay, fat boy, I see you. A little bit of Ciroc. Okay, okay, I see you, boy. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so here's also what a good tech recruiter is going to tell you. A good tech recruiter is going to tell you if you're a good fit or not. All right. Again, put your questions. If you got a question, we're about to hop in the Q&A right after this. So put your questions up if you want your questions answered before we get off live tonight. All right. So a good tech recruiter is going to tell you if you're a good fit or not. They're not going to leave you curious after the call, leave you in the air and in limbo. No, they're going to say, okay, they're going to look, ask you questions about the role, tell you about the role, and hear you out. And they can use, they're not, again, these aren't technical people. So they don't know nothing about, they don't know nothing, they don't know the difference between programming and scripting. Okay. Okay. So, but they know enough and been around enough if they're good to know what a good candidate for this role is based on the relationship they have again with the hiring manager. All right. So, but they'll tell you if you're a good fit or not. If you know, they'll be like, okay, you'll be a good candidate. Now, keep in mind, when they submit you to a job, 9 times out of 10, they're submitting you and about three, four, maybe five other candidates. All right. So y'all, you're not competing for the role, but they're giving the hiring managers good options for the role. All right. That's what you got to look at it as, especially with a good tech recruiter. A bad tech recruiter is throwing any candidate they remotely can into the portal and stuffing it with like 10 or 12 of y'all to fight it out for this role. So, but yeah, a good tech recruiter will tell you like if you're a good fit for this role or not. Like they can say if you sound good, you feel good, this feel good is like a good move. Okay, cool. We can move you on to the actual hiring round. Now, that tech recruiter might have an account manager they might have you talk to before the hiring manager just to spot check a few of your technical aspects of your resume. Um, but they'll usually let you know right then and there in the call. Like they're not going to leave you guessing after the call. Well, I'm going to see. We're going to see. No, they'll tell you, okay, because they'll know if they can get you an interview or not. They will know based on their experience, and what they feel you qualify for. Now, a bad tech recruiter, a bad tech recruiter will off put you to the account manager who you won't hear from. They'll be like, okay, all right. After they're in the call, after they're wrapping up the call, they'll tell you, okay, all right, yeah. So I'll go ahead and get you submitted to my account manager and we'll see how it goes. They'll get back with you. And chances are you won't hear from them. It's a 50-50 ball. You won't hear from the account manager. They won't even, and that recruiter won't even follow up with you. That's a bad tech recruiter. All right. And that's one you should keep on your mind. And usually they're tech recruiters those are the tech recruiters that are foreign. They're not local to your country or native to your country. Well, I'm not saying native, but local to your country. They're just not good at following up or any of those things. So, and they don't care because there's hundreds of y'all that they're trying to get in contact and push through. It's a numbers game for them. But for the ones that's stateside, that's in your country, usually it's more of a quality game for them because the industry is so small, your reputation starts to precede yourself and them as well. You know, you can have a recruitment firm that's known for doing bad business, and good talent will avoid them, or do them dirty in the interview rounds. Get to the end, client loves them, wants to hire them on board, and just because they're a crummy recruitment firm, the candidate will flip the numbers and say, "Nah, I want this much now." And now you in the hole as a recruiter because you got to either take some of the profit off of your margins to appease the talent candidate, or you got to tell the hiring manager that the candidate is no longer going to be interested in the role because they turned on you. Da da da. Now the hiring manager and them are looking at you as a recruitment firm, questionable. Like, why are you bringing me talent that's flimsy like this? You guys are doing a bad job. Might not be doing a good job at eyeing talent, qualifying talent. Sketchy. So it's bad business for you all. So that's a bad recruitment firm. All right. Last but not least, a good tech recruiter uh, contacts you usually two ways: LinkedIn and a phone call. LinkedIn really usually, especially nowadays, because they have it's a verifiable profile account. A good tech recruiter has a link as a verifiable profile account and they'll call you and leave a voicemail. So that's usually a good tech recruiter. They don't have time to find you elsewhere, usually, especially a third party tech recruiter. They're just going to usually message you on LinkedIn and or give you a phone call. That's usually it. That's how they contact you. That's a good recruiter. Again, they want to be simplified as possible and straightforward as possible. They're not going to overcomplicate the process. They don't have that kind of time or interest. Because for them, it's not necessarily a numbers game, it's a quality game and a metrics game. But that's another conversation. A bad tech recruiter will send you a LinkedIn message, a LinkedIn request, an email, a phone call, and it will go between texting you and giving you a phone call all day, every about 5 to 15 minutes until you block them. I'm not even holding you. I had this one recruiter reach out to me 10 times in one evening because I didn't respond to him in time. His right to represent email he sent out because I thought it was flaky. I didn't think it would go anywhere. And there's a lot of scams that's going on. So those are things you need to watch out for too. And again, if they're not American and if they're, saying something that's suspicious, reach out to another peer in the industry, have them take a look at the job ad, tell them, ask them, and I have students and mentees do this to me all the time. Do you think this is legit? Yes or no? And I can usually look at an organization and look at a job ad or look at an email, what have you, or a text message and let them know if it's, you know, if there's a Bible source or not. All right. So let's do our Q&As before we get up out of here. Let's see. That's not what I want. All right, let's see what kind of questions we got. Let's see. I'm working on deploying a website using an AWS tutorial. Shout out to the labs. When doing the code, I get stuck on the CLI to use Cloud Shell. Yep. Tutorial doesn't really say. And this is why I say do projects that you have to create on your own versus doing labs that are curated. Unless you are you're following a tutorial that's on YouTube instead of just in a curated lab. But anyway, to answer your question, I get when the codes, okay, you get stuck on CLI to use Cloud Shell. Okay, Visual Audio Studio. It's Visual Studio Code. That's what it is. And it's Git and it's Cloud Shell. The tutorial. So Visual Studio Code is the IDE. All right, it's the board that you use to code on. All right, it's a very popular open source IDE. Like I've used it in the government sector, I've used it in the private sector. It's very common to use. But I use it in my personal business, Visual Studio Code. All right, it's just an IDE, a very popular IDE tool. I forgot what IDE stands for. Something development, something. Git is a type of language, and Cloud Shell is a AWS portal that's usually internal within AWS that you can use the command line to do various type of scripting tasks within AWS. So you for CLI, that's separate. You don't need a Cloud Shell to do CLI. You need Cloud Shell, and if you're using CLI, you just need AWS CLI installed on your local machine. That's all you need. Now, to deploy, if you're writing code, because you don't want to write in Vim, and my students know about Vim and Nano, but if you don't want to write in Vim and Nano, you use the IDE, and the most common IDE is Visual Studio Code. So you put your code in Visual Studio Code. Now, within Visual Studio Code, you can go to the terminal at the top as one of the options, and you can open a PowerShell terminal or a Windows terminal, and it's a command line. And boom, you can deploy your code. You can do AWS CLI to start initializing your AWS environment. You put your secrets in, da 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 da, follow that whole path, and then boom, you have access to your AWS account to be able to deploy resources from your code to your account via the terminal. So you just need to do a little bit more digging and research there. Um, I've heard of AWS Amplify. I haven't really used it before. I haven't even seen it be used, to be honest with you. But yeah, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. But if you need something to talk even further about it, just shoot me a message and send me a screenshot of what you're looking at. I can kind of help you through it. Maybe might have to set up a call, but we'll see. I might do a little favor for you. We'll see. But yeah, what it's saying. It's saying that you need to use Visual Code Studio as your IDE, and you need to download AWS CLI on your local machine via Windows command line if you're a Windows machine. If you're using Ubuntu or Linux or Mac, you use Linux command line to download AWS CLI. But that's what it's saying. Cloud Shell is for when you're in the AWS console and you want to use the command line. That's you use AWS Cloud Shell. That's different. And Git is more so Git commands. That's more so CI/CD or Bash scripting, but I think that's way different from what you need for this project. So hopefully that helps. 225 girl. And y'all see me moving weird because my hips starting to hurt because I'm standing on this concrete for like an hour and I'm tired. How do recruiters find you on LinkedIn, and what should your page look like to attract them? Really good question. Um, so your LinkedIn profile one needs to be clear. Stop putting aspiringness or motivating that or about to be. No, what is your title? Like when I go into a principal's office, I expect to see principal such and such. When I go into a CEO office or executive office, I expect to say executive such and such. When a mechanic shows up to my house to work on something, if he's working on my bathroom, a plumber, I expect his badge to say plumber such and such. Like not aspiring to. So nobody's hiring an aspiring or looking for an aspiring nothing. State what you're trying to be. If you want to be a cloud engineer, you want to be a DevOps engineer, you want to be a security engineer, cloud security engineer, state that. I don't care if you are aspiring, I don't care if you have no certs, I don't care if you have no experience. That is the title you're aiming for. So that is the title when talent is looking for you that they will read. You are a cloud security engineer. So when they know when they approach you, to approach you for jobs that are aligned for cloud security or cloud engineering or cloud architecture, cloud DevOps or Kubernetes or cloud administration or, or IAM. I can go on and on. But that's what a good headline is simplified as what you are as far as like what you do. What's the job tech role that you're aspiring to have? Don't put aspire again. Don't put all these magical words in your headline. All right, just put the title in your headline. All right, then you might want to hash it off and put other stuff, creative stuff or whatever, but you need to have searchable ATS items in your headline. All right, and you need to have it in your summary. All right, you can chat GPT up with your summary. Your summary just needs to be a brief paragraph. Nobody reads your summary. I'm gonna just be honest with you. My summary ain't been updated since 2006, maybe 2012, 16, who knows? Your job experience is what they read. So that needs to be up to par or up to date or sharp. Me personally, I don't ever put my latest job in there I always keep about 3 to 4 jobs behind, you know, and if that usually does enough, to get the interest of recruiters, and they'll send me a message or send you a message, say, hey, I saw that you did da 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 da. I have a role at da 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 da. Would you be interested? And then you say, yeah, I'm interested in seeing your latest resume with all your latest jobs on there. But your LinkedIn profile isn't for you to get a job. It's just for you to get the attention of hiring managers and to network within the industry. Most of you all also aren't using your LinkedIn to network, meaning you're not creating posts that speak to what you're trying to do or what you are doing in the industry. Doesn't always have to be some grand Nike NBA announcement. Oh, I just signed a deal with this camp or with this company, or I have an announcement. It doesn't have to be grand. It can be something that's small. I tell my students this all the time. Even if you're working on a project, post about the project you're working on. What's intriguing you about the project? What you don't like about the project? What you would improve about the project? Where you're stuck at on the project? No one likes to see a finished product, especially on LinkedIn with so many engineers who are already in the industry knowing exactly what it takes. They don't want to see a finished product. They're not on there to see you boast about yourself all day, every day. They want to see what your real journey is. That's how you attract a network and build a real network of authentic people who want to connect with you and collaborate with you. So hopefully that long sentence makes sense to you. This and that. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know, brother. But yeah, that's my answer. Is the job, Justin said, is the job market bad for cloud engineers like it is for other industries? No, absolutely not. No. Um, I say this all the time. Too many people have too many critiques of an industry that they're on the outside looking in on. Unless you're in the field, in the industry, you can't really speak to what's going on and how to best navigate it because you're going off of speculation and fear. And what do journalistic sites, what's their number one goal? To drive clickbait. And what drives clickbait and sales more than anything? Fear mongering. So while the reality is to be concerned and it is a competitive market, your best bet is to get in there, stay focused on the objectives in front of you, clear those objectives until you reach success that you're obtaining. When I was coming into the field, there was speculation and saying that the job market for architects and for in AWS is oversaturated. You're doing the wrong thing. I heard that throughout my entire career, even prior to getting my first cloud tech role. That's the reality. You can believe it or not, but it's all going to deal down to the intangibles, which we've talked about before, which is your stick to itiveness, your commitment, your ability to persevere, your your social skills are going to be a lot more value in your success in this industry than your technical skills, believe it or not. It's the 80-20 rule. Can you persevere? Can you push through? Can you be patient? Can you be prepared for your opportunity when it comes? This and that, what you laughing at? What I say that funny? Thanks, because I'm just going to end up downloading a bunch of tech tools. Yep, that's a part of the process. You got to, I've done that too, just downloading everything till you get experience and just learn what you need or don't need. But you got to do this stuff. You got to go through you got to go through the ugly stuff to get to the beautiful side. If you don't do the hard, if you don't learn how to get good at doing the hard stuff, then you're not going to be really good at doing the small stuff. That's just the reality of it. That is because I end up downloading a bunch of tools that I don't know and understand. I'll try to labs out outside of tutorial. Yes, 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 yes. I get you. I get you. You want to start tutorials with the training wheels, and that's fine. That's fine. Move at your pace, but just keep that pace going. Keep the pace going. Keep the pace going. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, if you get further stuck on that 225 grid, just send me some screenshots and I can help you through it. Sipping on that Red Bull. Oh, you got a long night. That boy must be on the road. That's what that sounds like. Took your advice on dumping Azure. I mean, advice about Azure. I'm dumping AWS. I'm gonna start focusing on 104. It was boring. I appreciate that, fat boy. Azure is a boring looking GUI, but when I tell you that mug pay, I get paid consistently because it's not too many engineers want to do Azure or specialize in it because it's boring. There's nothing exciting. They never make a splash of headlines. Like they don't have a cool interface. It's boring looking and it's boring to configure. And it's you know, it's just so it's not a lot of talent that are Azure focused talent. So the opportunities are, but there's opportunities everywhere. There's no one better than the other. This was just keep in mind this was a particular conversation me and Fat Boy were having on my live about his particular situation. Don't think this applies to you or everybody. Could AI take over cloud engineering in the future? That's a good question. So if you've been reading lately, there's a company like Klarna and Duolingo who decided to go AI first and get rid of all their employees and have nothing but AI staff engineering their company, running their back end, doing some of their sales pipeline stuff. And they found out that all of that is failed. Why? Because, and they're starting to actually do this ramp up of hiring actual people to replace the AI agents they have running amok because it costs too much money and they aren't listening to the experts and who actually build infrastructure and build this stuff. When we say that 80% of AI projects don't even see the light of day because it's just too tasking. The task is the cost is too great, and the engineering responsibilities are too great, and the money isn't enough from a consumer standpoint. There isn't enough business in the AI business from a consumer standpoint to justify the spending means of building the infrastructure to support it. So I say all that to say in your near future, is AI going to replace cloud engineering? Absolutely not. What you're going to see in your new future is cloud engineers using more AI tools. Because right now, so many private companies, especially in the feds, bar a lot of AI tools from being used in their spaces because of proprietary issues, security issues. But eventually, later on down the road, probably 5, 8 years down the road, once those detail compliance details gets divvied out due to the cybersecurity industry, AI then will have a lot more approvals and get through the bureaucratic issues, approvals to be able to get access to being used in private enterprise and government spaces. So we use them as tools. It will be a tool as a tool has always been a tool. It's not going to be a replacement agent of the engineer because especially as a cloud engineer, you're not only getting paid to actually build infrastructure, but you're getting paid to use your expertise in a thoughtful approach of how you're building out infrastructure. Meaning you're going to know the limited capacity of what virtual machines can do and cannot do. And you're going to know the capacity of what the company likely is trying to work towards in their sprint cycles and what's best practice versus not best practice. And troubleshooting, you're going to know what legacy items, how to troubleshoot legacy, all the things that it's not directly compute, it's technical engineering that's being done, so it's quantifiable to an extent, but the problem solving of that and the thoughtfulness of that isn't quite computable. So there's no AI agent that can replicate exactly which you're able to do and think about and your approach to building out architecture. So we're going to continue to use it as a tool because, again, it's just not enough money in it for companies to replace talent, full-blown talent, with AI agents running amok in the back end, just spinning up wild resources and them themselves being a resource that's costly and highly billable that would drive a company broke in a matter of no time that companies are seeing now. So I think that you're actually going to see a lot of companies turning away from AI by the end of this year towards next year because they're going to just find out the cost spend of it all isn't worth it. And at the end of the day, it's finding out to be a better tool for actual engineers than a replaceable function for the average daily consumer. So just my thoughts. Can you ask questions from Tom on Twitter? Can we ask? Yeah. Ask me questions on Twitter. If you're gonna follow me on Twitter, Cloud Tech Big On, yeah, I'll answer your question. I answer, you know what I'm saying? I love making content out of it. It gives me more content to make anyway. So yeah, ask me a question on Twitter if you got it. I might respond in the form of a video. All right, I got one more answer. Time for one more question. We've been rocking and rolling for an hour, man. I be telling myself like we're gonna do this for like 30 minutes. And we never get to 30 minutes. We always go over time by like 30 minutes. All right. But I love kicking it with y'all. It says admin, good paying seven. Oh, is sysadmin good paying? With the Z4104, can I land sysadmin if cloud engineer? Yeah, it's not, you're going to find out cloud engineering isn't hard. The hardest part is just getting over your fear of thinking that you're not capable. That's the hard part. Um, and getting through the interviews and rejections. Sysapps I actually find to be a lot harder than cloud engineering, simply because when you're administrator, you're dealing with tools and systems at an application level a lot more than you would be as a cloud engineer, where you're dealing with infrastructure at a at an infra level, at the server, not server level. What do we call it? Not the hypervisor. Yeah, just from an infra level. So you're looking at things like uh, server types. You're looking at firewall, security groups, VPCs, IM provisioning, things like that, monetization, where and you might be looking at what's running or not running on certain application on certain servers that's giving you issues. But with sysadmins, you're having to deploy policies and everything through what's this called, a Microsoft Center something, MCSE, something like that. Basically, where you have to deploy new compliances and new patches during certain times throughout every device that's associated on a domain. You're responsible for all the licensing you got to worry about, software. Like it's so many micro things that's just, and the pay isn't comparable to that of a cloud engineer. So you're actually working harder as a sysadmin than a cloud engineer, but a sysadmin, yeah. If you're going to be I'd rather you be a systems engineer and then jump up to a cloud engineer than maybe a sysadmin, to be honest with you. Um, but sysadmins they still make good money. They're making anywhere between 70 to 94, so that's still good money, especially in most states. So, all right, what else we got? All right, just my last question. I'm gonna get off y'all. I know that you mentioned social skills earlier, but how important is business acumen? Extremely important. You have to have business acumen. When you get on a work call or you get on an interview call, and I've learned this lesson the hard way because I've been a knucklehead too. I've been cocky at times. Wear a dress shirt, wear a collar shirt when you get on calls. All right. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Gets you very far, no matter their age. All right. On punctual, be on time. All right. Be on time for calls. And just literally, and we talked about this at Tech and Night before, but literally, you beat half of the room by just showing up daily. You'll be highly surprised how many cloud professionals that you're going to work alongside who just have a problem with showing up daily to work. You will be highly surprised. And I think I talked about this one time I think I shared one of my stories at least on Instagram. That's what it was, on Instagram. Did an IG story about this, but how you can save your own butt and you can add longevity to your time with the organization and favor by simply just being a person known to show up every day. Like you show up to work all the time. That's literally it. So yeah, being business punctual, absolutely. That's a part of the social element. The more business punctual you are, and add some wiggle room to be cool. Like you still want to show that you're a personable person, that you're cool, that you go out like going out having a good time, that you're relatable. But because nobody wants to deal with a stiff neither. They can't trust the stiff. They're not going to trust you with private information or hearsay information if they find you to be too much of a stiff too. But be a professional, show up, show out, but add some flexibility to be maneuverable, to be cool, to be easy to get along with as well, to be personable. You find commonality in things, with your peers or people in the industry, or even people you're interviewing with. But yeah, and then that means you're speaking. If you have your person that has a fear of speaking, or you don't speak well, X, Y, and Z, then start taking speech classes. Go down and join your local Toastmasters to start getting your public speaking skills up. If you got to go on live, do lives every day to get comfortable to talking to an audience or talking to yourself out loud, especially through tech terminology, that's what you have to do. But it's going to take time, of course, but you will get there. All right. Do platform engineers have to code? I'm not sure. I hear that term about that's still kind of almost formally new to me a little bit. Platform engineers, kind of a new terminology that's came around in the last 2 years. I don't know, to be honest with you. I had to get back to you on that, to be honest. My inkling wants to say yes because they deal with back end code, I believe. But like they do a lot of automation, I believe. But I had to get back to you on that. I'm not sure. All right, y'all. I'm out. What would you do? What would Jesus do? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. But Martin said we out of here. All right. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the stepping. All right. Cloud Tech Big Unk, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Boot camp. We're doing youth boot camp, ages 15 to 25. We are letting some older adults in as well, but we're just focusing on the youth. If you're interested in that, sign up now. We start July 1. Enrollment is available now. Bcloudengineers.live is where you can find all my resources to do one-on-one consulting with me, to do my boot camp, to buy my blueprint if you want to do it yourself and you're isolated and you don't like working with people, and to find me on all online and social media and to do all type of cool stuff with me. Bcloudengineers.live. All right, y'all, I'm out. Remember, you had what it took the entire time. Be great.